Okay, so we'll talk about the bulk due date method. And so just for some review, Wile E. Coyote checked out Miss Jeffries' Place the Cook, and it was checked out on the 8th, but it's due on the 5th of June, which is extending past the end of term, which is May the 10th. And you'll see here that I put together a spreadsheet that shows you what the due dates would look like. So right now we're focusing on this row right here, which is a book that's in the browsing collection. It has a terms of use of 28-day student stacks, and the patron group is student. And today's date is the 8th, and the end of term is on the 10th. So what this is showing is that if I checked out this book that's got a location of browsing, that if it were checked out today, that it would be due back on June the 5th, which in fact it is. But we want it to be due back on May 10th. So this spreadsheet is telling you when you should start running the bulk due date job for items that have a terms of use by a particular day. So let me pull this over a little bit. We have items that go out for 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, and 28 days. So what you've got to know is when to start running the bulk due date job. And so for all the items that are that have a loan policy of 28 days, you've got to start running the job on April 13th and end the job on May 10th. And you have to run this job every single day. So what that means is you go up to the Alma main menu and you select bulk change due dates right here. And what you're essentially doing with this is that the patron comes in, like in our example, and checks out the book, and the due date extends past the end of term. What you do is you run this job and you take all of those checkouts and you basically backdate them so that they have the correct end of term loan date. And you have to do this for both the Hightower Library and Gillabo. And so we're going to select Hightower, and then you have to select the material type. And we know from talking about this that that's a book, and we want the due date to be the end of term, which is the 10th, or whatever the end of term happens to be, you put in there. And we know from the spreadsheet that I needed to start running this report on April the 13th, and you need to run this actually to the specific due date, which was it was June the 5th. I'm actually 2 days out from the end of term, so I'm going to count ahead 2 days and go to Wednesday the 7th. And so that's going to cover me for tomorrow and Wednesday. So I'm just adding 2 days to that because we're 2 days to the end of the term. So then you have to pick the location, and the location that we're talking about here is browsing. You can select more than one location. So you see here on the spreadsheet, here are the locations that would have a 28-day loan. So you've got browsing, Children's Lit, Gillabo Hall, oversized Gillabo, oversized Hightower, and second floor stacks. And so what you can do is you can hit the control key and whoops. Okay, I don't know how I was able to do it the other day, but I was able to go in and select more than one of these options at a time. But let's just say that you can for sake of argument. So I selected browsing, and you want to select the user group that this is going to apply to, and then you can put in the from due date hours and the to due date hours and the new due date So actually, if that's going to be when the library closes, I have to look and see, but on the 10th, let's say that we close at 10 o'clock, you would go ahead and enter that in military time, which is 21:59, and just for sake of argument, I'll just make that 8 o'clock, and we'll just make that 21:59 as well. This is just an example. And then at this point, I would just click on Change Bulk Due Date, and it'll say results of the operation are irreversible. Are you sure? And then you click Confirm. And then you would have just changed the due dates of any student who borrowed something that was in the browsing shelving location. That was a book, and between the dates of April 13th and had a due date of up to June the 7th. And it would have backdated all of those loan periods to May the 10th. And so when we go back to Wile E. Coyote's loans page, you'll see that in fact it did backdate that to May the 10th, and it entered the due date time, which is 10 o'clock at night. And so that's the original loan date that we had, which was the 8th of May, and that's the new due date. The other thing about this is if you look at the view policies, doing it that way, you don't have to change the terms of use rule at all. It still has the terms of use name 28-day student stacks, and it still has the policy of 28-day loan.